It's a disgusting dung beetle that only rolls poop. But I swallowed it alive without hesitation, even as it burst in my mouth. I forced myself to swallow it down despite the nausea, all because the world changed on September 1st, the first day of school. Survivors gradually awakened their exclusive mechas, gaining immense power. You should have stayed away. Your exclusive mecha is linked to what you ate that day. Somebody ate a pigeon. Their mecha had wings to soar high in the sky. Somebody ate shark fin. With steel teeth, they became the ruler of the deep sea. Another person ate glass that day and gained invisibility. But I was reincarnated. I got the god-tier talent, Zerg Lord. Eating bugs lets me absorb infinite Zerg genes, upgrading my exclusive mecha. I ate a golden-backed dung beetle alive. Gained a giant mecha. Ate a tiger beetle, the fastest land insect. Gained a speed mecha. And all of this is because I got the terminal stone in my past life. That let me awaken my mecha talent before the apocalypse. Now that I'm reborn, I'll build myself into a perfect all-around mecha, a war god-type strength-based insect. The first thing I thought of was ants, which can lift 400 times their own weight. But dung beetles can lift 1,141 times their body weight. So the first thing I did after rebirth was rush to the insect exhibition in Aiken City and spent a fortune buying a golden-backed dung beetle. Everyone laughed at me for being crazy, but I didn't care at all. Suddenly, I spotted a small box in an insect fan's hand. Inside was a black and white insect. Is this ironclad beetle yours? Ironclad beetle. It has the strongest exoskeleton among arthropods. It can even survive being run over by a car. If dung beetles represent strength, then ironclad beetles stand for defense. So what if it's mine? If it's yours, let's make a bet. I'll eat the golden-backed dung beetle in front of everyone. Then you give me the ironclad beetle. Deal? When I said that, the insect fan hesitated. Ironclad beetles live in the Americas. He waited a long time to get one. He definitely didn't want to give it away. But with so many people around, many of them acquaintances, he couldn't lose face. Suddenly, he gritted his teeth. Eyes fierce. Fine, you can have it. But you have to eat it. I bet you don't have the guts. No problem, I agreed right away. About 5 minutes later, a clear box was handed to me. Inside was a golden-backed dung beetle, crawling around, digging in the dirt from time to time. The box was opened. I grabbed it. Compared to those twisted, mutated creatures from my past life, this dung beetle was practically a delicacy. Just twist its head off, and it has 6 times more protein than beef. Eat it, you scared? Want me to get you a chef? If you're really too scared, you don't have to force yourself. The insect fan kept provoking me. Eat it. Just close your eyes, grit your teeth, and it's over. The others joined in. I just chuckled. Then I tossed it straight into my mouth, crunching it loudly. When everyone saw this, they went silent. They thought I'd fry it first. After all, dragonflies and grasshoppers are usually fried. They couldn't believe I actually ate it alive. After a gulp, I swallowed everything. I held out my hand, signaling for him to. The insect fan turned pale. Hand over the ironclad beetle. Unwillingly, he took out the small box. Wait, I want this ironclad beetle. Before I could take over, an extremely arrogant voice rang out. Then a young man showed up with 2 tough guys in black tank tops. And Hong Hui, the young master of Fenghua Group. Someone recognized the young man and couldn't help exclaiming. Everyone else recalled the rumors about An Hong Hui. He's a real spendthrift. He wants for nothing but fun and games. He throws away tons of money every day, just for something new. Looks like he's tired of playing with birds. Now he's into bugs. When I heard that name, my eyes narrowed slightly. An Hong Hai Hongshi Mecha. If I remember correctly, this An Hong Hai right here is the one who later became the #1 expert ruling Ningcheng. Hongshi Mecha is extremely powerful. It can even smash through an entire mountain when charging. A few years before the cataclysm, I lived under An Hong Hai's control. If I hadn't slipped away, while out looking for food, I'd probably be nothing but bones by now. But that was all in my past life. In this life, the one who rules Aikui City will only be me, absorbed by the Gunwolf gene. First order common insect soldier mecha completed. Evolving into Titan mecha. Form name, Titan mecha. Level 1 exclusive module. Strength increased by 50%. Can continue to upgrade after evolution. When I saw the Titan mecha stats, I was overjoyed. The other 3 stats are a bit low, but just in terms of strength, Titan mecha is already at 2nd order level, not to mention that broken exclusive module. It not only gives a 50% strength boost, but can also be upgraded again. My guess was right. The better the insect gene absorbed, the stronger the mecha built from it. Thinking of this, I directly took the iron beetle from the bug fan, and Honghai noticed this and grinned roguishly. Can you sell that bug to me? I'll pay double. Sorry, I don't need money. Seeing more people gathering around, I frowned and decided to leave. With so many people, if something mutates, even I couldn't handle it. I said, hand over that bug. Did you not hear me? When I refused him so flatly. And Honghai smiled coldly and signaled his bodyguards to block me. Facing the two men closing in, a trace of malice rose in me. Kill the traitor. The overwhelming killing intent from my past life erupted, scaring them so much they didn't dare move. Interesting, few people in Aikui dare to disrespect me like this. Boy, don't push your luck. And Honghai stepped up to me and reached for the box in my hand. I slapped his hand away and walked out without looking back. Everyone was shocked. This isn't just about saving face anymore. He's rubbing in Honghai's pride. Right into the dirt. And Honghai's face turned dark. He glared fiercely at his bodyguards. The bodyguards gritted their teeth and kicked hard at my back. Just before the kick landed, a golden light suddenly appeared behind me. The next second, a 3-meter-tall, sleek black gold mecha formed. The front of the mecha was deep black, glinting with cold light. The Titan mecha now fully covered my body. From far away, an ancient, heavy aura burst out, making many people's legs go weak. Oh my god, what is that? It looks like a mecha from a sci-fi movie. Everyone at the exhibition started talking. The mech appeared. I spun around sharply and shattered both bodyguards' lower legs with one punch. Then I stepped in front of Honghai, looking up at the enormous mech. And Honghai was panicking inside, but he forced himself to stay calm and said, "My friend, let's talk this out nicely. My father is the chairman of Fenghua Group. We have more than enough money and resources. Why don't we just forget what just happened and be friends?" Heh. I chuckled. The giant arm rose high. A murderous pressure crashed down like a blizzard, and Honghai collapsed to the ground. Facing a monster like this, the fact he didn't lose control of his bladder just showed how tough his mind was. I didn't attack him. I only clenched my fist lightly, then slammed it down. Relax, I won't do anything now. We'll meet again later. With that, I pushed off the ground slightly and shot out like a spring, watching my leaving figure, and Honghai's face twisted, his eyes fierce. I'll remember you. Kid, so what if you have a mech? Once the army moves out, not even a 3-meter mech. We wouldn't fear 130 meters tall. But he didn't know. Once the mutation begins, most matter will change at its core. By then, all weapons will become useless scrap. The only thing everyone can rely on is their own awakened innate mech. Leaving the exhibition, I deactivated my mech and went home. The reason I didn't hurt Honghai was simply to get his red rhino mech core. Sitting at my desk, I took out the ironclad beetle I just got from the bug fan. Ironclad beetle, also known as the hard shell or armored beetle, a type of Coleoptera insect, famous for its extremely hard shell. I didn't waste any time. Heated oil in a pan, sprinkled on some cumin and chili powder. Crunch, crunch, compared to the golden-backed dung beetle. The ironclad beetle's meat was tougher, especially that hard outer armor. It tasted like chewing eggshells. If I hadn't deep-fried it, I might not even have been able to bite through it. Right away, a translucent countdown screen appeared. Ironclad beetle gene acquired. Upgrading level 1, general purpose insect mech. Upgrade time, 5958. So, the general purpose insect mech is a basic model early on. All upgrades are done on this base. I wonder if later on, a stronger general purpose mech will appear. For upgrades, I thought to myself, after the cataclysm, all kinds of creatures evolve extremely fast. Not to mention later on, when alien races from other planets invade in full force, and even so-called gods appear. In my past life, there was a god named Quentin. He had a human head and a heavy body. If I absorb him, I wonder how powerful the upgraded mech would be. Maybe then I could even slay a god. I pushed those messy thoughts aside. My gaze turned back to the newly upgraded Titan mech. The Titan mech had outstanding strengths, but obvious weaknesses too. Low defense and slow speed. Those were critical flaws. For defense, I could switch to the Sky Domain mech in time, so I didn't worry much. The main issue was agility. It desperately needed a boost. As I spaced out, a knock came on the door. Who is it? I opened the door. What catches my eye is a pair of long, straight white legs. I look up. 2 full curves come into my sight. Where are you looking? I look down and see a heavily made-up woman looking at me with disgust. She quickly steps back. Let me tell you, move out tomorrow right now. Do you hear me? But tomorrow isn't here yet. Why the rush? I stare at the woman in front of me. A trace of hatred shows in my eyes. I'm renting this place. In my past life, when I moved out, not only did this woman refuse to return my deposit, she even walked around with a lamp checking every corner, claiming there was damage, and cheated me out of another 8,000 yen. Now that I've been reborn, I want to see if this woman is still as stupid as she was in my last life. I just noticed the doorknob is loose. Deduct 200 from your deposit. Another 200 for floor wear and tear. After a long stream of nagging, my entire deposit was gone. I even owed her 6,000 yen, but I'm in no mood to listen to her ramble now. The Beetle gene absorption must be complete. First level Insect Soldier Universal Mecha has evolved into Sky Domain Mecha. Form name, Sky Domain Mecha. Level 1. Exclusive module, Sky Domain Boost, 50% physical resistance, 20% elemental resistance, including mental damage. You can keep improving after Mecha evolution. The Sky Domain Mecha is even stronger than I imagined, especially the 50% physical damage immunity. Even attacks from second-level monsters are nothing to me now. The 20% elemental resistance is also extremely valuable. It can block elemental attacks like fire, wind, thunder, and lightning, and also nullify mental damage. In my past life, those monsters' mental attacks made me suffer a lot. This time, I can finally get my revenge without holding back, before I can calm down. Another notification sound rings out. Notification. Continue absorbing 3 types of insect genes to complete mecha form fusion. Mecha form fusion? I'm shocked. My heart pounds violently. This is truly god level. Once fused, the weaknesses of a single mecha form will be fixed. Then I'll have no flaws at all. Worthy of a super god level talent. The effect is just overpowered. I'm talking to you! Do you hear me? Are you deaf all of a sudden? The woman's eyes turn bloodshot. Her bulging eyes stare daggers at me. She mutated early? I'm slightly surprised. The black and white Sky Domain Mecha covers my body automatically. Why aren't you listening to me? The woman walks toward me slowly. Flesh and blood keep growing on her body. In the blink of an eye, she becomes a creature with sharp claws. A flesh giant nearly 3 meters tall. The next second, she swings her claws at me. I dodge sideways. My past life combat skills kick in. I avoid it easily. The claws swipe past the Sky Domain Mecha. Like a knife cutting through tofu, they sink deep into the concrete wall behind me. After missing, the woman pulls her claws out and attacks again. This time I don't dodge. I want to see just how tough the Sky Domain Mecha's defense is. The claws scrape across the Mecha's surface, making a harsh screeching sound. After the hit, the flesh on her palms is torn apart, her nails shattered. But the Sky Domain Mecha doesn't have a single scratch. The Sky Domain Mecha's power is truly amazing. Now it's my turn. I growl low and slam her against the wall. Then I switch to Titan Mecha and smash her head with one punch. Mutant blood corpse killed. Level 1 materials obtained, agility blood and effects. Can slightly increase agility when used for mech enhancement. Blood corpses are the most common mutant monsters. Their drops are blood and usually strength and defense stats. As for agility, it exists but is extremely rare. But only 4 points of agility is still not enough. I thought to myself, if agility is lacking, then find the fastest insect. After some research, I narrowed it down to 2. One is the dragonfly. The other is the tiger beetle. In terms of speed alone, the dragonfly is definitely faster. It can also fly, but the air is more complex than land and far more dangerous. For the sake of my life, I can put that off for now. Then I'll choose the tiger beetle. A tiger beetle can move 171 times its body length per second. For someone 1.8 meters tall like me, that's over 1,000 kilometers, almost reaching the speed of sound. I set my next target. I was about to search for more insect info when my phone on the desk suddenly started buzzing. I picked it up, frowning in confusion, and answered the call. A deep male voice came from the other end. Is this Mr. Huang Ting? Speak quickly. I'm in a hurry. My name is Chu Jiajin. I'm very interested in that thing you have, and some strange things have been happening here. You might know part of the reason. Chu Jiajin, the richest man in Icon City, with businesses in real estate and catering. Compared to this big shot, the small Fenghua group is nothing. In my past life, the reason in Honghai could control Icon City was simply because Chu Jiazhen didn't stay here. I'd like to invite you over, Mr. Huang Ting. What do you say? I snapped back to the present. Facing Chu Jiazhen's invitation, I agreed immediately. In the early stages of the cataclysm, all rules are chaotic. Being alone makes you weak. If I have a big force backing me, life will be easier. Besides, Chu Jiazhen has a huge botanical garden filled with all kinds of rare flowers and countless insects Earth beetles are common, but in this modern concrete jungle, they're hard to find. So I agreed without hesitation. Good. I've sent a driver to wait downstairs. Too bad I'm too busy to get away. Or I'd pick you up myself. An hour later, I arrived at the botanical garden. I got on a small shuttle cart and rode for about 10 minutes. That's when I saw Chu Jiajin sitting under a mushroom-shaped pavilion. Next to Chu Jiajin was a girl with a ponytail, wearing a black tank top and white pants. She wasn't tall, but very attractive. With eye-catching long legs, I chuckled, walked over and sat down. Chu Jiajin had been watching me from the start. Seeing how calm I was, a hint of surprise appeared in his eyes. He actually sensed a rival in me. Interesting. People who give me this feeling are usually seasoned businessmen in their 40s or 50s. You're the first young one. Even more interesting. I actually felt a trace of fear. Chu Jiajin stared at me intensely, growing even more curious about me. I came here, first, for those strange things you mentioned. Second, I need to borrow some of your forces. As soon as I said that, even with Chu Jiajin's experience, he was shocked for a moment. He forced a smile and said, "You're really straightforward." I have to be. After all, the apocalypse is coming soon. I replied as I looked around. The mecha's stats are synced to the wearer. I'm not wearing the mecha right now, but my strength is still top-notch. After a close look, I quickly spotted the black-clad bodyguards hiding nearby. Following my gaze, Chu Jiajin was instantly alarmed. All the places I was staring at had his men. What in the world is this young man? The apocalypse? The Mayan prophecy? You've been watching too many movies. Chuhai couldn't help laughing. I thought Huang Ting was some big shot, but he's actually this funny. Is it possible that they miscalculated a cycle in their prophecy? The real apocalypse isn't 2012, it's 2024, I explained calmly. Then I looked at Chu Jiajin. Mr. Chu, don't test me, and don't be afraid of me. As long as you don't harm my interests, I won't lay a hand on you. On the contrary, we can reach some cooperation. Chu Jiajin looked embarrassed. It was the first time he'd been called out so directly. He quickly changed the subject. Is the apocalypse you're talking about real? Of course, and if I'm right, those strange things you mentioned should be related to this. Hearing this, Chu Jiajin was shocked. He looked at Chu Hui, signaling her to leave. It's fine to let her see. Everyone will go through it in 2 days anyway. Seeing how sure I was, Chu Jiajin hesitated for a moment. Then he led us to a corner of the botanical garden. There was a strange building here. 10 black-clad bodyguards stood guard at the entrance, each fully armed. Well-equipped? Boss, things are bad. The captain handed over a tablet. It showed surveillance footage, divided into 4 areas. The content was absolutely horrifying. Most of the first 3 screens were covered by strange lumps of flesh and blood. I glanced at it and immediately recognized them as common blood corpses. Blood corpses have no self-awareness. They just eat. They devour every living thing in sight, even their own kind. If they advance to level 4, giant blood corpses will form a blood tide, spawning even more of them. In my past life, these things gave everyone a massive headache. The last screen was different. There was only a tall woman about 2 meters high. She had her head down at first. As if sensing someone watching her, she suddenly looked up, revealing a pair of pitch-black eyes. Then, like a beast, she lunged at the camera in an instant, stretched out her hand and crushed it. Seeing this, everyone except me trembled. It's an elite mutant. I didn't expect that before the cataclysm even began, an elite mutant had already appeared. She was the captain of my bodyguard team, named Lisa. She started acting strange yesterday. I had no choice but to lock her up here. Although he didn't know what I meant by elite mutant, Chu Jiajin still sensed something unusual. He began to explain. I nodded to show I understood. I nodded and let him know I got it. I pushed the door, ready to go in. These mutants can drop materials, especially that elite mutant. It might even drop an auxiliary module. That would give the mecha skills. How could I miss this? Then I shifted my mind. The Titan mecha with golden back attached itself to me. Seeing the tall, mighty, and handsome mecha, Chu Jiajin looked horrified. Chu Hui's eyes lit up. She majored in materials science, but she had no idea where my mecha came from, or what material it was made of. I just walked inside on my own. Security Captain Aliang pulled out a tablet and checked the cameras. It clearly showed that the blood corpse in room 2 had suddenly gone berserk. It had broken out of the room and was slaughtering the guards inside. Many guards had been torn to pieces and absorbed into its body as it kept feeding. The aura of the blood corpse grew more violent. Just then, a black gold mecha. A guard walked deep into the building. Boss! None of our men can beat that monster. Do you think your guest can handle it? Aliang, Yaden didn't believe I could stop the monster. Dad, call Huang Ting back. Leave this monster to the military. Seeing such a bloody scene for the first time. Chu Hai felt sick, but she held back the nausea and urged. After the two persuaded him, Shu Jiazhen realized he'd been too impulsive. Aliang, go get him back. He waved his hand, signaling Aliang to go in. Boss, it's too late. He's already fighting that monster. Aliang quickly shoved the tablet into Chu Jiazhen's hand, then found another one and handed it to Chu Hui. On the screen, I had already clashed with the rampaging blood corpse. Unlike the slow zombies in movies, the blood corpse was bigger and much stronger. It was just as fast, too. Bang! The blood corpse's huge fist grazed past me. The marble floor instantly cracked like a spider web. Pretty strong. Even with agility blood enhancement, the Titan mecha was still a bit slow. In that case, I'll finish this fast. I stepped forward and slammed into the blood corpse's chest. In an instant, the blood corpse, as tall as a floor, went flying and crashed into the wall behind it. Even though Chu Jiazhen and the others were outside, they felt the whole place shake. Aliang swallowed hard, shocked and terrified. Is he even human? Before, just to move this monster, we had to use 2 10-ton cranes. Chu Jiazhen was not only shocked, but also worried. He understood more than Aliang. The secret behind the monster's appearance was the main reason he'd humbled himself. To connect with me, on the screen I gave the blood corpse no time to breathe. I charged forward again and punched its chest. The Titan mecha didn't have any auxiliary modules yet, which were like skills in a game, so I could only use normal physical attacks. But even so, the blood corpse couldn't resist. The next second, my huge iron fist pierced straight through its body and kept going until it smashed through the wall behind, before stopping. Kill confirmed. First Order Mutant Blood Corpse defeated. Obtained material, Strength Blood, effect. Slightly increases strength when used for mecha enhancement. A red light emerged from the blood corpse. Then, a strength blood core with dark red liquid appeared. I grabbed it in one hand and walked outside. From the camera feed earlier, that elite mutant transformed from Lisa was extremely fast. If I fought it now, I'd definitely lose. I'd wait until I got the tiger beetles and built a new mecha. Then I'd take it on. As for the other 2 blood corpses, I'd leave them too. They'd be useful. Outside, I automatically retracted the mecha and walked out slowly. Shu Hui was the first to rush over and check. That huge mecha, where did you hide it? What kind of technology is this? Hearing her question, I felt a little awkward. I only knew I could summon my own mecha. I had no idea where it came from, or what technology it used. Luckily, Chu Jiazhen stopped Chu Hui from pestering me and pulled her behind him. To defeat such a monster, you're truly outstanding for your age. Chu Jiazhen praised me. I was modest first, then looked at Chu Jiazhen. Mr. Chu, I need a favor from you. Name it, I'll do anything I can. I didn't hold back. I took out my phone and awkwardly pulled up a picture. I was hoping you could help me find this insect. Chu Jiazhen glanced at it and laughed. Tiger beetles, I have plenty in my garden. Aliang, go catch some right away. Yes! Aliang nodded heavily. He waved over several bodyguards. Not annoyed at all. Tiger beetles were common, and with so many people, it didn't take long. Aliang came back with a glass jar. Inside were exactly the tiger beetles I needed. Are you going to eat them? Remembering what happened at the exhibition, Chu Hai asked in surprise. I didn't deny it. The news from the exhibition must have spread, but I didn't care. No one else knew my real secrets. Even if they guessed that my mecha was related to the insects I ate, there was nothing they could do. That was the confidence of a god-tier talent. I took the jar, poured out the tiger beetle, grabbed it quickly before it could escape, and threw it into my mouth. Once you get over the mental barrier, eating a bug is no big deal. People in Vietnam eat way weirder stuff. Acquiring tiger beetle genes, upgrading standard insect unit mecha. Upgrade time, 2 hours, 59 minutes, 57 seconds. 3 hours isn't too long. Huang Ting, what are you gonna do with the other monsters? Chu Jiazhen asked, his voice full of admiration. After all, anyone who can eat bugs without flinching is tough. Even he respected that. I'll take care of the elite mutant myself later. As for the other 2 blood corpses, they're up to you and Miss Chu Hui. At those words, Chu Jiazhen frowned. Chu Hai turned pale with fear. You're kidding, how could I fight those? After a short silence, Chu Jiazhen finally spoke. You want us to fight them? Is this related to your mecha? He suspected that killing a monster might be a test to join my organization. I chuckled. As expected of a business tycoon, you hit the nail on the head. So you want it, Mr. Chu? No one can say they're not tempted. You want us to fight them. Is this related to that mecha of yours? He suspected that killing one of those monsters might be the ticket to join whatever organization I'm from. I chuckled. As expected of a big shot in business. You got straight to the point. So you want it, Mr. Chu? No one can say they aren't tempted. Of course I am. Chu Jiazhen was extremely jealous of the mech on me, but he also knew full well that with his own strength alone, there was no way he could fight such a monster. President Chu, no need to answer right away. You can take your time to think, but I don't have much time. I can only give you 3 hours at most. The bone beetle modification still needs a bit of time. I'm in no hurry. No need to think. I want this technology or ability. Name any conditions you have. I'll agree to them as best I can, even if it's all my fortune. With that, he stared sharply into my eyes and noticed my gaze kept lingering on his daughter. If it's about Chu Hui, I can't agree. I can only help persuade her. Seeing Chu Jiazhen's serious face and Chu Hui's slightly blushing cheeks, I froze for a moment. It took me a while to realize he'd misunderstood. The reason I kept staring at Chu Hui was simply that I had no memory of her from my past life. Maybe Chu Kai had already died before Chu Jiazhen left Aikun. Fortunately, I'd been reborn. This tragedy could be rewritten. As for conditions, honestly, there's nothing I really need right now. I thought for a moment, then finally spoke. If I ever need something in the future, I hope President Chu will help me without holding back. This condition sounded simple, but the phrase without holding back was enough to make anyone think carefully. Chu Jiazhen fell silent for a full 3 minutes. I agree, even if it cost me my life. But I have one condition. Chu Ai's not bound by this condition. All right, I smiled slightly. This condition, to me, was more precious than any treasure. It's getting late. President Chu, why not stay for something to eat? Eat what? Chu Jiazhen looked confused. He was totally thrown off by my sudden change of topic. Of course, I was just about to explain. When a sharp pain hit my heart, I had a feeling that if I said that key information out loud, I would be erased by the omnipresent cosmic will. I could know it myself, but I couldn't reveal it to anyone early. I looked up at the sky and let out a cold sneer. The changes happening to Blue Star were all the work of the cosmic will imposed on it. In my past life, I wasn't top-tier strong, so I never reached this level of truth. Now that I'm reborn, I want to see just what this so-called cosmic will really is. I took a deep breath. My expression turned calm. Just something nice to eat. Chu Jiazhen had been in business for years and mastered the art of reading people. Even if I didn't say anything, he could figure out part of it. He immediately ordered his men to prepare. Once that was done, he asked carefully, Huang Ting, what exactly is the apocalypse you mentioned earlier? I paused for a moment. There was no warning from the cosmic will this time. Looks like I can talk. 2 days from now, at 12 noon, the sun will turn blood red. At that time, most living things will mutate. Blood corpses are one of the most common types. Those who don't mutate will awaken all kinds of innate mechs. Innate mechs. Chu Jiazhen and Chu Hui's faces turned grave. They both saw disbelief in each other's eyes. Then Chu Jiazhen realized he'd guessed wrong. Innate mechs can be awakened early, right? The requirement is to kill early mutated creatures. I nodded. Talking to smart people is easy. You get it right away. If creatures can mutate early, then naturally, humans can awaken early too. Innate mechs. Awaken early? Something nice to eat. Chu Jiazhen muttered to himself. His body suddenly trembled. He wasn't an idiot. He realized at once there must be a connection between the two. He waved for Aliang and ordered, go get the pair of mammoth ivory and the Argentavis eagle fossil from the collection room and stew them. Aliang was shocked. Eat fossils? Has his boss gone crazy? Chu Jiazhen also realized chewing bones wasn't realistic. He added, grind them all into powder and stew it in the soup. You watch it yourself. As soon as it's ready, bring it over immediately. Yes, sir, watching Aliang leave. Huang Ting nodded quietly. Chu Jiazhen figured this out on his own. Can't blame me for this. Both mammoths and Argentavis eagles were extremely powerful beasts. Looks like in this life, Chu Jiazhen's strength will improve even more. The three talked for a while longer. Suddenly, noisy voices came from the entrance of the botanical garden. Chukai! Chukai! Next, a figure holding flowers, unexpected to Huang Ting, appeared in front of them. Chu Hui, you really are here! I knew they wouldn't dare lie to me. And Hong Hai trotted up to Chu Hui. Why are you here again? I told you I don't like you. Stop bothering me. Chu Hui's face turned cold. She didn't give on Hong Hai any face at all. And Hong Hai didn't get mad. He just grinned. Just then, he spotted Huang Ting standing next to Chu Jiazhen. His expression instantly turned from sunny to stormy, as dark as if a heavy rain was coming. You bastard! I was gonna find you, and you just showed up. And Hong Hai, he's my dad's guest. Don't cause trouble here. Hearing Chu Hui's reply, Chu Jiazhen shook his head helplessly. His silly daughter was great in every way, except she needed to improve how she handled people. Huang Ting was around her age, and not bad-looking either. Being so biased toward that young kid was bound to make him jealous. Besides, the two had already clashed before. This was just pouring oil on the fire. A guest? Sure enough. And Hong Hai snorted. Uncle Chu, don't be fooled by this guy. That mech on him is just for show. It's just a bit stronger. No real use at all. When he first saw the mech activate, and Hong Hai had been really scared. But after thinking about it, he realized the mech had huge limits. Most importantly, it wasn't agile. Its speed wasn't good either. Just find a few people trained with guns, fire a volley, and it'll be wrecked for sure. With that thought, he turned to the 5 bodyguards behind him. After the exhibition incident, he'd increased his security. All 5 were armed with guns. They were pistols, but they could fire automatically. Plus, they had low recoil. Their instant damage was explosive. He was confident that with these 5 guns, that metal mech wasn't worth mentioning. Huang Ting would definitely beg on his knees for mercy. All right, Hong Hai. Uncle Chu has a guest today and can't entertain you properly. Please excuse us, Chu Jiazhen said with a smile. In the past, and Hong Hai would have been far more valuable. But now Huang Ting was more important. Sensing his coldness and distance, and Hong Hai flew into a rage. He thought Huang Ting was the one to blame for everything. Bastard, I'll never let you fool Uncle Chu. With Chu Hui, if you got the guts, show me that crappy medal of yours. Let's see if I can turn you into a sieve. And Hong Hai raised one hand. His bodyguarders immediately pulled pistols from their chests and aimed at Huang Ting. Clang! Seeing this, the black-suited guards around Huang Ting raised their guns too, facing off. The atmosphere instantly turned tense and anxious. Chu Jiazhen looked displeased. This was his place, after all. And Hong Hai acting like this was clearly disrespecting him. He was just about to scold him, but Huang Ting stopped him. Huang Ting glanced at the countdown with half a minute left and broke into a bright smile. Let's see, then. Sky Domain Mecha activate. Forget pistols. I could even take missiles. But he wanted to test the mecha's new form even more. A new mecha focused on agility. Dodging bullets shouldn't be a problem, right? Just then, a familiar notification sounded in his ear. Tiger Beetle gene absorption complete. Level 1. Universal Insect Soldier Mecha upgraded to Thunderflash Mecha. Form name, Thunderflash Mecha. Level 1, STR-8, Def 3, AGI 30. Mystery Zero exclusive module, Thunderflash. Thunderflash. Burst, speed, plus 30%. Flexibility, plus 20%. After mecha upgrade complete, you may continue to raise mecha stats. Just as Huang Ting expected, agility was the highest. What's more, the exclusive module boosted burst speed and flexibility. This let him control the mecha with more precision. He could pull off many extremely difficult moves. They say a mecha is an extension of the human body, but it also has many limits. Some moves humans can do easily, but a mecha might not manage. Like the common duck walk. That all depends on the mecha's flexibility. Without a doubt. The more flexible a mecha, the more powerful it is. Same goes for burst speed. Only the mystery stat was still locked. That probably wouldn't unlock until the 3rd mutation. Before it became useful, for now, focus on the 3 basic stats. As long as I can switch forms fast enough, my strength is no worse than a level 2 mecha. I'm even stronger. Thinking this, Huang Ting stepped forward, his eyes sharp as he looked at An Hong Hai. I'll show you my mecha. If you land even one hit, I lose. No, that's too easy for you. And Hong Hai refused at once. Then he grinned maliciously. If I hit you, you crawl out of here. There's no one else in the garden anyway. No one will see you make a fool of yourself. He said that out loud, but secretly signaled his guards to turn on their tiny cameras. He wanted to record everything and capture Huang Ting's humiliation, perfectly on film. Fine, if I win, you bark like a dog 5 times. You're already a bootlicker anyway. Might as well go back to your roots. Who are you calling a bootlicker? My feelings for Chu Hui are real. And Hong Hai immediately argued. Huang Ting couldn't be bothered with him. If he didn't need mecha cores for future upgrades, he wouldn't waste his breath. With a thought, a Janmecha, carved with purple lightning patterns, attached itself to him automatically. As soon as the mecha was on, Huangting felt his body was like a light feather. Like a light breeze could send him flying right away. This Thunderflash mecha was even stronger than he imagined. Cut the crap. Come on, Huangting shouted, his body tensed and ready. And Honghai stopped wasting time. He swung his hand down. Bang, 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 bang! A series of gunshots rang out. With the shots, everything around Huangting seemed to slow down in an instant. A dozen bullets flew in from different directions, but they all froze in midair. He could even see each bullet's path clearly. He dodged sideways, and all the bullets slammed into the wall behind him. Seeing this, and Honghai's eyes nearly popped out. He actually dodged the bullets. Chu Jiajin also jolted. A brand new mecha and clearly an agility type. This completely erased his doubts. Like An Honghai, he'd thought the giant god mecha was clumsy. Now he understood. Huangting had an even faster mecha. He just hadn't shown it. That was because he knew little about bonded mechas. In his past life, any survivor who saw this would be shocked beyond belief. Except for a few talents. Most people only had one bonded mecha. To get different forms, you had to use materials for targeted upgrades, or add extra modules. Normally, it was just extra patterns or parts. For someone like Huangting, to change everything from head to toe was basically unheard of. All bullets dodged, without a doubt. And Honghai had lost, thinking he'd have to bark in front of everyone. And Honghai's face turned bright red, then even purple. He glared fiercely at Huangting, his eyes threatening. If Huangting backed down and didn't make him honor the bet, he'd go easy on him later. But Huangting wasn't letting him off. He spoke up. Young Master An Honghai, since you lost, honor the bet. Chu Jiajin wanted to smooth things over, but when he met Huangting's cold, emotionless eyes, he backed down. He was truly scared at this moment, of this young man in front of him. Woof, 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 like his mouth was burning. And Honghai quickly growled the barks. He fled with his men in embarrassment. If it were just Huangting, he'd never admit the bet. But Chu Jiajin and Chu Hui were there. He had no choice but to admit it. On the way back, and Honghai ran into Aliang, who was coming back. Young master, take care. Aliang greeted him habitually. Take care, my ass. And Honghai roared. Furious? Watching him leave, Aliang spat. What a jerk. If Miss Chu Hai ended up with you, she'd be miserable. Good thing the boss has sense. Carrying the prepared food, Aliang went back to the mushroom pavilion. Even if they weren't hungry, Chu Jiajin and Chu Hui still ate a lot. After 2 loud screams, Huangting broke the limbs of the remaining 2 blood corpses and smashed half their bodies. They lay on the ground, their life fading fast, getting Huangting's signal. Chu Jiajin walked in with a waist-high hammer. Kill it. Huangting stood with his arms crossed. Chu Jiajin was ruthless. Even though the blood corpses looked terrifying, he smashed down without hesitation. A spray of blood burst out, splattering all over his face. He wiped the blood off his face. Chu Jiajin lit up with joy, grinning from ear to ear. Congratulations, Mr. Chu, on awakening your mech early. You've become a pioneer before the apocalypse. Huangting clapped. Then he signaled Chu Hui to act. Compared to an old hand like Chu Jiajin, Chu Hui was far less mature, but he'd been carefully raised since childhood. He quickly overcame his mental barrier and struck down as well. He reached out and picked up the blood boxes dropped by the 2 blood corpses. Huangting waited quietly for them to summon their mechs. Moments later, after a flash of light, 2 imposing mechs appeared in the room. Chu Jiajin's mech was mainly gray and white. It had exoskeleton-like armor. The most eye-catching were the huge tusks on both shoulders. The tusks were black and gray. They glinted with cold metallic light, giving off a chilling aura. The mech stood about 5 meters tall. If the room hadn't been so big, he could only show it half crouching. Compared to Chu Jiajin, Chu Hui's mech looked relatively small. Though small was only relative. Chu Hui's mech was 3 meters tall. It had smooth, elegant lines. It was covered in gray-red feathers, with a pair of huge steel wings. Its feet were not flat. They were like sharp claws. They looked intimidating. Huangting could tell at a glance. Chu Jiajin had absorbed mammoth genes. Shukai had absorbed Argentavis genes. Unless someone ate a dinosaur or something, these were pretty much the top tier animal genes you could get. Most ordinary people ate pigs, cattle, and sheep. They were normal meat in human society. Of course, a few people ate frog, snake, or dog meat, but almost no one ate mammoth or ancient creature fossils. Not for any special reason, just because they tasted terrible. With the mech awakened early, Xu Jizhen no longer doubted the apocalypse Huang Ting had told him about. Mechs were real now. So an apocalypse made perfect sense. At this moment, his favorability toward Huang Ting was almost maxed out. If Huang Ting liked his daughter, it wouldn't be a problem at all. All right, get used to your mechs first. I'm going to take care of Captain Lisa. I hope she won't blame me. The two moved their arms, then twisted their hips. Huang Ting couldn't watch anymore. He went straight to the deepest part of the building. Before mutating, Lisa realized something was wrong with her. She locked herself in a special room. Otherwise, Xu Jizhen might not have been able to control her. As soon as he opened the door, a dark shadow charged at him. Such speed, Huang Ting was startled, but not afraid. He twisted his body, dodging the shadow's charge. Then he pushed off with his legs. He shot toward Lisa like a fully compressed spring in an instant. As security captain, Lisa was top tier in every stat. The blood corpse she turned into was even harder to deal with. Seeing someone close, she quickly swung her leg, trying to knock him back. Huang Ting breathed out softly. His purplish-blue Thunder Flash mech transformed at once into the black and white Sky Domain mech. He raised his arm and took the kick head-on. Boom! The moment they made contact, a sharp air blast exploded inside the building. Xu Jizhen and Chu Hui, who were testing their mechs, heard the blast, and their expressions tightened. Elite mutant, its power was no joke. If Huang Ting lost, they'd be in big trouble. I'll help him. You get out of here first. Xu Jizhen dropped to all fours. Like a charging mammoth, he rushed straight to the building's core. Hearing his words, Chukai pouted slightly. I just awakened my own mech. My own mech. There's no way I'm leaving first. With that, he spread his wings and caught up to Chu Jiazhen. They thought Huang Ting would be struggling hard, but when they arrived, they saw, thanks to the mech's high agility, mutated Lisa couldn't even touch Huang Ting. After the long fight, Lisa was covered in wounds big and small. Dark red blood kept flowing out. She's worn down enough. If I had proper attack skills, I would have finished her long ago. Huang Ting flashed, appearing behind Lisa. He was so fast, Lisa didn't react. Taking the chance, he quickly switched back to Giant God Mech and threw a heavy punch. Even though Lisa's body could block bullets, under this punch, she was no different from Tofu. He pierced and killed her easily. Elite Mutant Blood Lion, Level 1. Obtained Agility Blood X2. Defense Blood X1, Bloodbone X5. Sharp Claw Form. Blueprint X1. As Lisa fell, colorful drops appeared. Material name, Bloodbone. Quality, Common Type. Material. Effect, bone from a blood corpse. Extremely hard. Can be used to strengthen mechs or craft certain blueprints. Blood bones don't drop often. Huang Ting didn't expect one so soon. They're essential. For early mech upgrades, more is always better. But what excited him more was the blueprint. His mech had no real attack options. Sharp Claw Form. It solved his urgent problem perfectly. Blueprint name, Sharp Claw Form, Quality, Common Type. Effect, unlocks an extremely sharp claw for attacking. Required materials, Strength Blood X2. Agility Blood X1, Bloodbone X3. Glancing at the materials needed, Huang Ting's heart raced. He had everything. He could craft it right here. The mech had a small built-in storage space. It could hold small items. Earlier, the strength blood boxes looted from the two blood corpses were inside. He took out the strength blood boxes. Huang Ting placed all materials on the pale blue blueprint. A white light flashed. The blueprint and materials vanished. In their place was a long metal bar. He attached the metal bar to his right arm. Click! It merged with his arm. With a thought, the metal bar snapped open. 3 sharp claws popped out, looking just like Wolverine's. He swung it lightly at the wall. The wall, made of high-grade steel, was instantly cut with 3 deep marks. Against a blood corpse, one strike would rip it open. Seeing this terrifying power, even Chu Jiazhen was shocked. No one knew the wall's hardness better than him. He'd tested it before. Even armor-piercing bullets only left tiny craters. But now, the wall was like paper, in Huang Ting's hands. How could he not be shocked? After judging the claw's attack power, Huang Ting switched to Thunderflash Mech. He crushed the defense blood box and dripped the blood onto his mech. A human in full defensive gear. Defense is about 1 point. Thunderflash Mecha only has 3 points. It's easy to see from this. Its defense is weak. Consume defense blood core. Defense +1? 1 agility blood core left. Huang Ting strengthens the Titan Mecha again. This way, Titan Mecha's agility becomes 5 points. It's enough for now. The familiar notification sound fades away. He breathes out softly. Cancel Mecha form. All blood corpses eliminated. Next, I need to get ready for the global apocalypse. Huang Ting, what's that on your hand? Just then, Chu Hui, who also canceled her mecha, suddenly cried out. Huh? My hand? Huang Ting looks down at her hand instinctively. On her once pure white hand, right now, a blood-red hook-shaped mark has appeared. If you look closely, that hook-shaped mark looks just like a protruding tusk. The second she sees this mark, Huang Ting's pupils shrink to pinpoints. Boss mark, above elite monsters, are boss-level monsters. They are born with the ability to control their own kind, and they are highly intelligent. On top of that, they can also give their subordinates a mark to send messages. No wonder Lisa turned into an elite monster. So, she got a mark from a boss-level monster. Now I killed Lisa, and the mark transferred to me, staring at the mark on her hand. Huang Ting has a headache. Boss-level monsters evolve at an unreasonable speed. They can level up in just a few days. No wonder later on, I barely heard any news about Ning City. Maybe Ning City back then was destroyed by this boss-level monster. I'm in trouble. Just ask if you need help. Seeing Huang Ting's ugly expression, Chu Jiajin says at once. Huang Ting nods. I do have 2 things. First, find me an abandoned building. Send in water and food, and basic daily supplies. Second, check if there have been missing people in Ning City lately. Where are the cases most frequent? I'm looking for a very special blood corpse. Chu Jiazhen agrees immediately. He sends Aoliang to handle it. The first task is easy. Chu Jiazhen runs real estate and catering. He soon finds an abandoned, unfinished building. After reinforcing it, it can be used as a temporary shelter. As for the second task, after donating 100 million to the local security bureau, it's solved right away. The apocalypse is coming. His attitude toward money is even more casual than Huang Ting's. Using 100 million to do what Huang Ting asked is definitely a good deal. Soon, a file is sent to Huang Ting's phone. Above elite monsters are boss-level monsters. They are born with the ability to control their own kind, and they are smarter than normal monsters. On top of that, they can also give their subordinates a mark to send messages. No wonder Lisa turned into an elite monster. So, she got a mark from a boss-level monster. Now I killed Lisa, and the mark transferred to me, staring at the mark on her hand. Huang Ting has a headache. Boss-level monsters evolve at an unreasonable speed. They can level up in just a few days. No wonder later on, I barely heard any news about Ning City. Maybe Ning City back then was destroyed by this boss-level monster. I'm in trouble. Just let me know if you need help. Seeing Huang Ting's dark face, Chu Jiazhen said at once. Huang Ting nodded. I do have 2 things. First, find me an abandoned building and deliver water, food, and basic daily supplies inside. Second, check if there have been any missing person cases in Ningcheng recently and where they happen the most. I'm looking for a special blood corpse. Chu Jiazhen agreed immediately. He sent Aoliang to handle it. The first task was easy. Chu Jiazhen's businesses were real estate and catering. He soon found an unfinished abandoned building. After reinforcement, it could be used as a temporary shelter. As for the second task, after donating 100 million to the local security bureau, it was solved right away. The end was coming, and he cared even less about money than Huang Ting did. Using 100 million to do what Huang Ting ordered was definitely a good deal. Soon, a file was sent to Huang Ting's phone. Looking at the marked spots on the map, Huang Ting told Chu Jiazhen to send people to investigate again, to check for anything unusual. He wasn't idle either. He went to check the places with the most missing cases, one by one. The next evening, Huang Ting yawned. He dragged his tired body back to the botanical garden. He checked all those places, found nothing unusual at all. The boss monster's intelligence was way beyond his expectations. Still no luck? I'll send more people to investigate. Chu Jiazhen saw Huang Ting's worry and frowned. No need. Tomorrow the whole world will mutate. Let's get ready for the apocalypse first. It's just a boss monster. With my god-level Zergmaster talent, Huang Ting didn't believe he couldn't beat it. Fine then. By the way, the place you wanted is ready. I'll have Aliang take you there later. Chu Kaishen nodded first, then looked confused. The building is so obvious. Why not pick a basement or something defensive? Huang Ting's expression turned serious. He explained, after the mutation starts, the properties of most materials will change completely. In other words, tech devices will all stop working. Underground buildings have limited vision. If you get trapped, the only outcome is death. A building has a wide view. It's a big target, but also easier to hide in. And more importantly, underground creatures are no fewer than those above ground. After they mutate, so-called underground defenses are just a joke. Huang Ting remembered clearly. In his past life, an underground shelter was finally destroyed by mutated earthworms. When facing mutated creatures, you can't just hide. You have to take the initiative to have any chance of survival. I see. Looks like I still don't know enough about the apocalypse. Chu Jiazhen had been planning to build an underground shelter. Hearing Huang Ting's words, he gave up on the idea immediately. Luckily, he'd prepared 2 plans in advance, or he would have been screwed. Without more talk, led by Aliang, Huang Ting soon arrived at the abandoned building. The building had 8 floors. The top 3 and bottom 3 were untouched. Only the 4th and 5th floors were surrounded by steel plates outside. It looked pretty well defended. Walking inside, 10 giant generators came into view. Besides that, there are 2 small water purifiers. Although I knew they wouldn't be very useful after the mutation, Huang Ting was still very satisfied with Chu Jiazhen's arrangement. He looked at Aliang and warned him, all right, go back and get ready first. Remember, if anyone around you acts unusual, take them out immediately. Don't hesitate at all. These aren't zombies. There's no cure once they mutate. They're dead for sure. Yes, Mr. Huang Ting. Aliang nodded heavily. His respect for Huang Ting grew even more. Time passed little by little. Soon, red light appeared on the horizon. Then the sky lit up completely. Ordinary people knew nothing about the doomsday. They went to work as usual under the sun, starting another day of hard work. But Chu Jiazhen's actions caught many people's attention. Many forces sent their trusted men to investigate. The whole of Ningcheng felt like a storm was coming. It was 11 o'clock, 1 hour left until the official mutation. Huang Ting took out his phone and dialed a number. It was none other than the top leader of Ningcheng. Hello, Fuan. This is Fuan. Fuan's voice was usually dignified and calm, but right now, even an ordinary person could hear the panic in his tone. No need to say anything else. Pass the order. Put the whole city under martial law. I'm not exaggerating. Huang Ting spoke calmly. He couldn't stop this disaster, but with preparation, they might reduce casualties. He didn't inform them earlier, because he was afraid that Ningcheng would fall into chaos. Inside the office, Fuan suddenly fell silent. If this had been 2 hours ago, and someone told him the apocalypse was coming, he would never have believed it. But it was Chu Jiazhen who said it. That carried a lot of weight. Plus the mysterious mech he'd shown, and the recent monster attacks. Putting all the clues together, even disbelief wouldn't help. Sir, since the apocalypse is coming, we should work together. I wonder if you'd be interested in temporarily serving as Ningcheng's honorary inspector. Fuan was the chief inspector, with absolute authority in Ningcheng. Offering the title of honorary inspector was a bit much for him, but desperate times call for desperate measures. He had no choice. He desperately needed to know what caused this apocalypse, when it would end, how much damage it would do to Ningcheng. These were all things he had to consider. Honorary inspector. Huang Ting smiled faintly. His mood didn't change at all. In his past life, he was a king who ruled a large territory. Not to mention an empty title, even a real inspector, meant nothing to him. Deputy Inspector, get ready. The world is about to change. Huang Ting hung up and tossed his phone aside. He'd said everything he needed to. Now everyone could only rely on themselves. Hearing the hang-up tone, Fuan wanted to investigate Huang Ting's real identity, but right now, an even bigger mess was waiting for him that needed to be dealt with urgently. Give the order. The whole city enters high-level combat readiness. Yes, a voice replied from outside the door. It wasn't long before the air raid siren blared. Soldiers armed with guns poured into the streets and began enforcing control. This was an emergency plan from above. Not only Ning City was under control, the entire Dragon Kingdom had entered an eerie state of combat readiness. Many people were confused by the scene. Spies hidden in Dragon Kingdom were even more terrified, scared out of their wits. Was Dragon Kingdom going to war? But who was the enemy? Who was they fighting? After a brief disturbance, the military completely locked down the streets. Only 10 minutes remained until 12 o'clock. The once bright sun was now covered by a layer of red veil, hard to see clearly. The 10 minutes passed in a flash, with a deafening roar. The Great Cataclysm officially began. Even with prior control measures, the entire Ning City descended into chaos. Blood corpses created by the Cataclysm rampaged through the streets, constantly attacking the defense lines formed by soldiers. Inside a room, Xiaoye, the boyfriend, looked terrified, clutching a baseball bat tightly. Through a gap in the curtains, he carefully watched everything outside. Oh my God, it's like a zombie apocalypse. Thank God we didn't get infected, or we'd be screwed, Xiaoye muttered quietly as he watched. He had no idea that his girlfriend behind him was mutating right then. Oh right, I just ordered 3-cup chicken. It tastes really good. You can have some if you're hungry. Suddenly he remembered something and turned around. But instead of his girlfriend's pretty face, a huge terrifying monster, covered in lumps and sarcomas, greeted him. The monster roared and lunged at Xiaoye. Xiaoye's mind went completely blank. Fortunately, he reacted at the last second and shouted, "A Kun!" Nameless rage filled his heart. In an instant, he felt a surge of power erupt from his body. As light burst out, a yellow mecha appeared the next second, slamming the monster in front of him into the ground. "I'm sorry, Icon. I'll set you free." Xiaoye raised his right hand, which turned into a sharp point, and slammed it down. The same scene played out in many places. As blood corpses appeared, human-bonded mechas also began to awaken. Huang Ting reached the top floor of the abandoned building, overlooking everything happening in the distance. When the apocalypse broke out in his past life, he was too busy running for his life to observe any of it properly. But now human civilization had collapsed. So many had lost their loved ones. Many others were forced to kill the ones they loved most. Such a horrific, cruel scene, all because of some damn cosmic will. I will find out what this cosmic will really is. His heart was utterly determined at this moment. In chaotic times, the scariest thing isn't having no food. It's having no goal, living aimlessly day after day. The chaos continued into the afternoon, showing no signs of stopping. Wang Ti took out a braised pork can, heated it a little, and ate happily. Generators and water purifiers had completely failed, but the food was mostly unaffected. It was a blessing in disguise. If even the food had changed nature, humanity would truly have no way to survive. Bro, yesterday I saw people hauling stuff in here. It's covered with steel plates up top. There must be good stuff inside. Nice, nice. I told you, out of all of us, you're the smartest. You'll be second in line later. When I'm done, it's your turn. Let go of me, you bastards! Help! Help! Who would even come to this dump? You can scream till your throat's dry. No one's coming. It's the end of the world. Can't a guy have some fun? I heard you're a grad student. A grad student? Nice. I had an undergrad before, but a grad student's a first for me. Noise came from downstairs, mixed with a woman's cries for help. Huang Ting's face turned cold. After the apocalypse began, for a very long time, the law of the jungle ruled. It only calmed down much later. He knew society would collapse. He just didn't think it'd happen this fast. These guys were clearly trash. Otherwise, they wouldn't be thinking with their lower heads right at the start. As the last piece of pork belly finished cooking, 4 men and 1 woman came into view. The 4 men wore blue uniforms from a car shop. The woman wore a shirt and pants. She was held tight by 2 of them. Boss, there's only 1 guy here, and tons of food. A thin man in yellow sneakers said in surprise. The others lit up at the sight of food and quietly moved toward Huang Ting. Buddy, you can't eat all this by yourself. How about we share? You give us food. We give you the girl. I'm first. You're second. The boss nodded at the woman behind him, grinning lewdly. Boss, you said I'd be second. Huang Xie protested unhappily, staring eagerly at the boss. Damn it, you go later. Fine, fine, fine. Whatever you say, boss. Huangxie didn't dare resist. He put on a flattering smile. Compared to women, I prefer what you guys have. Hearing the first half, Huangxie and the boss looked terrified. They thought they'd run into a pervert. Only after the second half did they turn angry. Damn you! You refuse a toast. And eat a forfeit, the boss cursed. At the same time, light burst out from his body. In an instant, a black-brown mech with thick fur appeared. This was a wild boar mech. Huangting had seen many mechs in his past life. He recognized this one at a glance. The other three also summoned their mechs. They were also wild boar mechs, but their looks were way worse than the boss's. One was full version, the others were like cheap copies. You won't listen to me? Then I'll beat you till you do. The boss crouched down and charged forward. As the saying goes, 1 boar, 2 tiger, 3 bear, 4 wolf. When a wild boar charges, even the tiger, king of beasts, gives way. Thunderflash mech, merge. Huangting stepped aside and dodged easily. Boom! Having missed, the boss crashed straight through an unfinished concrete wall. The steel plate reinforcing outside also got a huge dent. The other three charged at the same time, rushing like a pack of boars. Huangting stayed calm. He shifted his body repeatedly, dodging all their charges effortlessly. Damn you, kid. You only know how to run? Fight me like a man! The boss readied himself and charged again. Huangting chuckled. Thunderflash mech transformed into giant god mech. He held it open with one hand. He stopped the boss's charge with just one hand. Die! The 4 underlings froze at once. Their boss, who could smash through steel plates, was stopped by a single hand. Then an even more horrifying scene appeared. Huangting's arm suddenly turned into a sharp claw. It slashed across the boss's body. After sparks flew everywhere, the boss collapsed to the ground. His mecha shattered with a crash, turning into a small, cube-like object. Killed mecha pilot Wang Hu, level 1, obtained level 1 me, Cha core. Mecha core retrieved. Huangting looked at the remaining 4. Oh my god, run! This guy isn't human! Huangxie roared. They panicked and fled outside. Huangting gave them no chance. Transform Thunderflash Mecha. Take them out one by one. He only needed 2 cores to reach level 2, but he now had 3 mechas. He might need 6 cores instead. He couldn't turn down free loot. After finishing everyone off, he canceled his mecha form, found a bath towel, threw it to the woman cowering behind a wall. Soon the woman came out wrapped in the towel, trembling all over, her eyes filled with fear and confusion. I'll give you 2 choices. 1, leave here. But you can't reveal this place, or I'll kill you myself. 2, stay here. Watch the place for me, and do some chores. Payment is food and water. Huangting spoke calmly, as if he hadn't just killed people. Truth was, anyone who survived decades in the apocalypse wouldn't be scared or worried anymore. I'll stay. My name is Guanxilan. Guanxilan's eyes quickly cleared up. Regaining focus, his incredible fighting skills, and the huge food supply here all proved Huangting's power. In the apocalypse, her parents had become unrecognizable monsters. To survive, she could only rely on Huangting. Smart choice. I awakened my innate mecha, but it died. It awakened. But it disappeared after they kept attacking me. Guanxilan answered honestly. Don't worry. It'll come back after a while. Innate mechas have a hidden durability stat. If it takes continuous damage, it goes into rest mode. The time depends on the damage. Usually, it fully recovers in about 24 hours. He waited 2 more hours in the abandoned building. Huangting stood up. Thunderflash mecha attached automatically. Things were stable now. Time to go hunt monsters and get mecha upgrade materials. Wait here. Don't make a sound. Understood? Yes. Guanxilan didn't dare argue. She nodded repeatedly. Leaving the building, Huangting rushed toward the most crowded area. Newly formed bloodlions were weak. Perfect time to collect upgrade materials. He hadn't gone far when he ran into a bloodlion. No hesitation. Thunderflash mecha flashed behind the lion, then transformed. Titan mecha stretched out its claw. The blood corpse's head lost 2/3 in an instant. Killed mutant. Level 1 blood corpse. Obtained material. Strength blood X1. Blood claw X1. Sure enough, after the mutation started, the drop rate for blood corpses went way up. He picked up the loot. Huangting sets his sights on another blood corpse again. Killing a level 1 mutant blood corpse grants the material Flesh Embers. Material name, Flesh Embers. Quality, common. Type, material. Effect, 100 portions of Flesh Embers. Can be combined into 1 portion of Flesh Essence. Flesh Essence slightly boosts mecha stats. I take back what I just said. I can't believe even the basic blood boxes are gone now, before the mutation even officially started. Blood corpses always dropped 1 blood box at a steady rate. Now the upper limit has been raised, but the lower limit has dropped too. Well, even a mosquito's bite is still meat. Huang Ting puts away the Flesh Embers and keeps looking for blood corpses. Meanwhile, inside an abandoned building, Guancelan hasn't recovered from her fear. Her body is still visibly trembling. She didn't even dare to breathe hard just now, afraid Huang Ting would kill her if he got annoyed. Luckily, she got lucky. She survived. Thinking of this, she takes out her phone ready to contact the outside. She dare not reveal what's here. She just wants to see what's happening outside. Those terrifying monsters. And the mecha on her body. It's all weighing on her heart, making it hard to breathe. When she pulls out her phone, she's completely stunned. Her perfectly fine phone suddenly won't work. Not even getting online. Even turning it on is a luxury. After hesitating for a moment, she stands up wanting to look by the window. But remembering Huang Ting's warning, she sits back down. In movies and shows, side characters who don't listen always die early. She's not stupid, she just wants to stay alive. Goo goo goo, just then, she suddenly hears the cooing of pigeons outside the window. Boom! Then a loud crash. The steel plate covering the window suddenly bulges outward, like something slammed into it. Guancelan gasps. She quickly claps her hand over her mouth. But it's too late. Bang, 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 continuous crashing sounds. The whole steel plate looks like it's being hit. By the Buddha's palm, dent after dent. Hearing the terrifying noise, she quietly picks up a sharp stone and grips it tightly. Suddenly, the banging stops. Guancelan sighs in relief, thinking the danger has left. Thud! Right at that moment, the ceiling above violently shakes. Unfinished concrete and gravel rain down, cracking and pattering. Guancelan Palace. It couldn't break through the steel plate, so it's trying to break through from above. Compared to the hard steel plate, the concrete made of cement and sand is much weaker. Soon, a basin-sized hole opens in the ceiling. Through the hole, Guancelan finally sees what they really are. Pigeons, a flock of mutant pigeons. Normal pigeons are tiny. You can hold one in one hand. But these pigeons above, each is as big as an adult golden retriever. The lead one is even as big as a calf. Its scarlet eyes glow with evil. It flaps its wings, shooing the other mutant pigeons away, stretches its claws, and grabs the edge of the hole. Crack! It easily crushes a chunk of concrete. Dust showers down. The despair she feels is no less than before, when she was surrounded by 4 men. Those men wanted her body. These mutant pigeons in front of her might want her body too. Damn it, Guancelan shouts. She picks up the stone from the ground and hurls it at the hole above. By some unlucky chance, the stone hits the pigeon leader right on its claw. For a moment, the pigeon leader's eyes turn even redder. I'm breaking the rocks much faster now. Seeing this, Guancelan fell deeper into despair. Am I really going to die here today? Suddenly, she remembered how Huang Ting fought 4 people earlier. If Huang Ting was here, I might still have a chance to survive. But that was impossible. In a daze, she noticed in the hole above her head, a black gold figure seemed to flash by. Then a sharp, painful scream rang out, snapping Guancelan back to reality at once. That was his mech. Yes, definitely yes. That was his mech. Wild joy spread across Guancelan's face. She quickly twisted her body, trying to see the fight above clearly. On the top floor, Huang Ting reached out and grabbed a mutated pigeon by the neck and twisted it hard. In an instant, the mutated pigeon's head separated from its body, turning into a lifeless pile of flesh and blood. Killed level 1 mutant messenger pigeon. Obtained material, gray feather. This one mutant blood drop. Ice 1 stored away, item dropped. Huang Ting looked at the lead pigeon in the flock. Another elite level mutant. Wonder what it'll drop, he muttered to himself, then charged straight at it. The fierce, brutal pigeon flock was just as docile in Huang Ting's hands as they were before mutating. They couldn't put up any fight at all. He soon killed all the other mutated pigeons, leaving only the lead pigeon. The lead pigeon now knew not to mess with Huang Ting. It spread its wings and flew out of the abandoned building. Trying to run now? Too late. Huang Ting picked up a stone slab from the ground and threw it with all his strength. The slab hit perfectly the lead pigeon that was just about to fly high. With a whimper, the lead pigeon's body crashed straight down. Huang Ting chased right after, jumping out of the building, and stomped down on its body. The mech's own weight, plus the powerful impact of the fall, completely crushed the lead pigeon. Killed. Elite Level 1 Mutant Messenger Pigeon. Obtained material: Gray Feather, X5 Mutant Blood Drop, X3. Submodule, Detection Eye, Blueprint, Bone Bomb. X1. Seeing the rewards, Huang Ting was stunned for a moment, then burst out laughing. Forget the materials for now. Gray Feather increases agility. Mutant Blood Drop raises strength and defense. Both need processing before use. But the Detection Eye is amazing. It not only shows basic info on mutated creatures, but also suppresses your own aura. Its stealth effect is outstanding. One of the best early game skills. The Bone Bomb is just as good as the Detection Eye. It has huge explosive power, great for clearing weak mutated blood corpses. If used properly, one Bone Bomb can easily kill several corpses. What's more, this blueprint can be reused. With this, I'll quickly build up my early wealth and upgrade my mech. He first picked up the Detection Eye. On the outside, it just looked like a simple gray ball. He pressed it into his eye. The sphere immediately grew 8 thin mechanical limbs that pierced into his original eye structure. The second it was installed, Huang Ting immediately felt his vision improve greatly. He casually glanced over, and in the grass not far away, saw a mutated ant. Name: Crocodile Mutant Ant. Level: Normal Level 1. Threat level: extremely low. The crocodile mutant ant emitted a harmless white glow. It was gnawing on a grass stem, completely unaware someone was watching it. He looked away. Huang Ting opened the Colossus Mech stats panel again. Name: Colossus Mech. Level 1. Strength 30, Defense 4, Agility 5. Mystery: 0 exclusive module, Colossus submodule. Claw form, Detection Eye. Enhancement materials can only raise stats up to 10 points. To get more stats, the mech must be upgraded. The Zerg Lord talent is overpowered, but its consumption is also enormous. All mechs must be fully upgraded. Before I can level up further, looking at the panel, Huang Ting felt both happy and worried. Switching between multiple forms means it has no weaknesses. Its combat power is huge. But I can't slack off on upgrading any mech. I can't just max out one mech first, then upgrade the others later. Luckily, I still have a trump card. He opened the Bone Bomb blueprint. Blueprint name: Bone Bomb. Quality: Fine type. Blueprint effect: creates countless bone shards for explosive attacks. Materials required: Bloody Bone X2, Mutant Blood Drop. 2. Bloodstained Hide X1. The quality level of materials and blueprints is similar to mech talent levels. The only difference is that above normal, there's an extra fine grade, then excellent. Mutant blood drops and bloodstained hides are common materials. Bloody bones are rare, but compared to the value of bone bombs, they're nothing. The trading system opens tomorrow. No need to rush now. He put away the blueprint. Huang Ting returned to the 5th floor. The roof had been badly torn up by the mutant pigeons, but it could still be repaired. A blessing in disguise, at least. I didn't move around. I didn't attract them. Guancelan explained nervously. I know it's not your fault. Don't be scared. Monsters have extremely sharp senses. They probably just picked up your scent and attacked wildly because of it. He thought Guancelan was smart enough, after what happened earlier, to never put herself in danger again. Staring at the big hole above, Huang Ting couldn't help but sigh. This place still isn't safe. If only I could be like a snail and carry my house around everywhere. Too bad creatures like that are rare. Besides snails, there's another insect that carries its home around. Guancelan added casually. That sounds great. Suddenly, Huang Ting froze. He stepped forward and grabbed Guancelan's arm. Guancelan's face changed. She instinctively grabbed the stone she'd prepared earlier and slammed it hard at Huang Ting's hand. Huang Ting's eyes turned cold. He raised his hand and knocked the stone away. I'm not interested in you. I just want to know what that insect that carries its home is called. Seeing Huang Ting make no further moves, Guancelan finally relaxed. She slowly lowered her arm. Then a strong sense of inadequacy washed over her. In his eyes, she wasn't even as important as a bug. That insect is called a bagworm. Bagworm larvae can spin silk and weave nests from leaves or branches, then carry them around. Guanxilan's explanation was short, but Huangting still saw how unusual this insect was. Are bagworms widespread? Pretty widespread. They're found all over the country. If you see a band-like object on a branch, it might be a bagworm's home. Hearing that, Huangting looked awkward. He'd lived in a big city his whole life. He'd never seen an insect like this. He'd seen plenty in his past life. But those insects had extra eyes all over them. It had dozens of tentacles. It made people's scalps tingle. Compared to that thing, the bugs now were just harmless little babies. Huangting smiled. He hadn't remembered wrong after all. He never expected saving some random person would actually turn out so well. Whatever, since that's how it is. I'll give you the next mecha upgrade slot. Now that he had a goal, Huangting hesitated no longer. He slung a metal box onto his back and set off again. The reason he came back early was to find a container to store those materials. In the late apocalypse, there were countless spatial devices, so he wouldn't have to go through this trouble. But for now, he could only use this primitive and simple way to collect things. He took out the map he'd prepared earlier. Huangting headed for the shelter built by Chu Family Town. He didn't have enough people. The mission to find Soy had to be handed to Chu Family Town. Hopefully they still had enough manpower. Otherwise, his next mecha might take a long time. Maybe he could cooperate with the authorities. But unlike Chu Family Town, before the apocalypse began, the authorities already had many factions. Now their relations were even more complicated, unless absolutely necessary. He didn't want to get involved with them right now. The fighting on the streets hadn't slowed down. If anything, it was getting worse. At the very beginning, humans were helpless against the crab lions and other mutated creatures. They couldn't fight back at all. But now, after awakening their own mechas, they finally had the power to resist. Whether to avenge their loved ones, or to get upgrade and evolution materials. Everyone had a reason to fight. Of course, only a few dared to step up. Most people still hid and waited. As Huangting moved forward, he recalled what had happened in his past life. The first day's disaster was just the beginning. Later on, even more unimaginable things would happen, like the system shop opening tomorrow. The appearance of the system shop was a perfect opportunity for Huangting. Originally, if he wanted to sell bone bombs, he'd have to trade them one by one. Now that the system shop was open, he could complete transactions online directly. His earning speed would skyrocket. The cost of one bone bomb was about 50 energy points. He planned to sell them for 300 each. A 6x profit margin would make him rich. And this was only the first step. Having enough energy points meant enough upgrade materials. This wasn't some cultivation novel. He didn't need to slowly train. As long as he had enough materials, he could reach level 2 right away, ahead of everyone else. These low-level materials seemed insignificant, but they were crucial for mecha evolution. In his past life, he'd chased quick profits and sold many low-level materials. When he needed them later, he was screwed. He wasted a lot of time upgrading his mecha. In this life, he knew what was coming. He was definitely going to make a fortune on low-level materials, then quickly raise his mecha level, and become the #1 in Ning City. With a plan in mind, Huangting moved even faster. The Thunder Flash mecha weaved through the streets, truly like a bolt of lightning. Whether it was crab lions or humans, they only felt a flash of lightning beside them. Then everything went quiet again. They had no idea what just happened. Shani Shelter, Chu Family Town, had founded Shani Group. The shelter he built also used that name. In the early mutation stage, some of his men had mutated. But Aliang remembered Huangting's warning. Shoot immediately if there's any problem. On top of that, Chu Family Town and Chu Hui, who'd already awakened their mechas, were holding the line, so their losses not too big. Just like Huangting, Chu Jiazhen also chose a building, but it wasn't an abandoned one. It was a completely intact, unoccupied building that hadn't been handed over yet. The top floor had 8 small watchtowers. They could easily see everything, within hundreds of meters. Something's up. A mech appeared 300 meters away. It's moving fast. A voice suddenly came from one watchtower. Then the voice turned urgent. Oh no, he's at the gate. Everyone on guard! Wait, he stopped. The people above didn't dare delay. They quickly passed the message down. At the same time, Chu Jiazhen heard about the unexpected visitor. He went outside and looked. A familiar cayenne purple mech came into view. Okay, no need to panic. An old friend is here. Is that Huangting? Chua exclaimed in surprise. She jumped straight out a window. Mid-air, the giant eagle mech activated. It spread its wings and flew right in front of Huang Ting. Looks like you've mastered your mech pretty well. But remember, don't fly too high. The sky is just as dangerous as the ground. Huang Ting retracted his mech and chuckled. Yeah, got it. Shokai also deactivated, her mech acting very obedient. In just half a day, she felt like the world had collapsed. People around her either mutated or lost contact. That's why, when she saw Huang Ting, an old friend,
She was this happy?
just then, Chu Jiazhen walked out of the building. Seeing his daughter chatting happily with Huang Ting, he smiled knowingly. Huang Ting's mystery and strength left an unforgettable impression on him. Plus, he was tall and good-looking. If the two of them got together, it wouldn't be bad at all. We really owe you one this time. Otherwise, many people would have died in Ning City. Chu Jiazhen stepped forward, patted Huang Ting on the shoulder and said, seeing this scene, a Liang behind them was shocked. It was the first time he'd seen Chu Jiazhen treat a young man so seriously, but if it was Huang Ting, it made perfect sense. Huang Ting exchanged a few polite words, then stated his reason for coming. Bagworms used to be easy to find, but now it'll probably be tricky. I'll have people keep an eye out. Chu Jiazhen had long guessed that Huang Ting's mech was related to insects. They were allies right now. The stronger Huang Ting was, the safer his own interest would be, so he agreed right away. With business done, Huang Ting opened the metal box he'd brought and took out 3 items. President Chu, I wonder if your people have dropped these 3 materials. I'll trade a little secret for them. Oh, let me see. Chu Jiazhen glanced at the 3 materials and smiled. What a coincidence. I have all 3 materials right here. What secret are you willing to trade? Just crush the blood box and let the blood drip onto the mech. It'll boost the corresponding stats. How much is this little secret worth? Huang Ting didn't hide how to use the blood box. Even if he didn't say it, the secret would get out later. Rather than letting everyone know then, he might as well get something out of it now. Hearing the secret, Chu Jiazhen froze. He'd thought absorbing the blood box would be complicated. He had no idea it was this easy. After hesitating for a moment, he said, I don't have many bloody bones. I'll give you 8. 10 mutated blood drops. 6 blood-stained beast hides. Is that okay? Huang Ting calculated. With these materials plus what he already had, he could make 10 bone bombs. That should be enough. He also knew this was just the start of the apocalypse. Chu Jiazhen didn't have many materials to give. For ordinary people, it would be even less. Anyway, it was a free deal. He'd take whatever he could get. Besides, Chu Jiazhen wasn't his subordinate. They were just partners. Taking the materials, Huang Ting found a room. He began making bone bombs. Bone bombs were a type of item. Generally, there were 2 ways to make them. One was using a blueprint. Just place the materials on the blueprint. Simple and fast. The other was crafting by hand. Handcrafting was more troublesome. It was also harder to do, but it often made better quality items. Many people in his past life were crafting pros, even if their mechs were just average. Once fully equipped, their combat power was still strong. A white light flashed. A bone bomb shaped like a tiny skull was finished.